Hey, it's January 6th. I rolled out of bed 3 minutes ago and I haven't had coffee yet, so obviously this is the perfect time to do a status update. Because if nothing else, I have cool husky voice right now. I sound hot, I know. That's okay. So, in the original concept of the schedule for the truck, I was starting in like September, October, and I was supposed to be done the truck entirely by end of, well, construction. I don't know that I ever planned to finish painting by then, but I was supposed to be done constructing the truck by end of December, and then I would move on to the Army in the new year. And that would give me, that roughly split my time in half between the truck and the Army. It's January 6th. I haven't made a video in a month, but I've just been working. Yeah, not done. This is looking real good. It's getting really close to the point where I can just... It's not there yet, but it's getting close to the point where I can just say, yeah, screw it, it's done. There's not a ton that remains to be done before I can get to that point. But we're not there. And it's disappointing, but not surprising. Like, whatever. It's been very clear for a while that it was not going to be done by December. But anyway. So I'll get to the schedule in a sec. I'll just do a quick update on what did we do in December. So all throughout December, I was basically designing panels in Illustrator. And then finally this past weekend, I cut everything and printed it all out. We had some printing problems, or some cutting problems. The panels that I needed to print out were too big for a Fresco box. So, like, the sides of the Fresco boxes that I'm using for most of the construction are over 12 inches long, but I can only fit 12 inches in the cutter, so I have to cut to that. But then the other dimension is either 4.5 or 5, depending on which face. And so if I need to print a piece that is more than 4.5 or 5 in both directions, it just doesn't fit on a Fresco panel. So I had to do some stuff on cereal boxes and like any of this white cardboard. And there's some basically on the side panels here and the top panel. Any of those I had to do on cereal boxes. And yeah, it turns out that cardboard is thicker. And yeah, it just doesn't print with the same settings, and even when I go to maximum depth settings, it still like just kind of doesn't cut super well. Like if I'm doing simple cuts, the cutter will generally go through them and I can free that. Like I have to do a little bit of cleanup with a knife, but it mostly does it. But like for any of this really, really detailed stuff here with these with the lines in the roof, yeah, I had to clean a lot of that by hand with a knife, so it was not a fun day. Anyway, yeah, and I ended up having to print this specific panel on the roof literally like 5 times. I've got 4 junk ones over here because they kept printing and not being cut all the way through. I wasted a lot of cardboard. Anyway, we learn now. We know more than we did. So anyway, yeah, so I've still got my conveyors in the sides here, with the controls here as previously demonstrated. And if we move over, there's side panels here that kind of go in at there's like an hourglass pinch in the middle, and then it bulges back out to the front. On the center of the front, there's the capybara habitat, which is going to have a glass front. There's some electronics in the front. Currently, the electronics they're not on right now, but there's going to be headlights here. And those aren't just going to shine through. There's going to be like little hoods on top of them. I don't know if you can see them, but there's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's the capybara area will have some lights. There's an additional set of lights that I have wired, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing them with anything. Due to some calculation errors that honestly I'm still not totally understanding. There's an area on the front where I was planning to have nothing, but there were some misaligned pieces, and I end up... There is a version... there's a possibility I may have a bumper on the front. I don't want one, but there's a possibility I may have one, and then just because some stuff didn't line up properly, and that's just a way to cover the problem. So when I was in the middle of solving that, I ended up doing the wiring for the front, and I was like, screw it, we'll do some lights, and we'll do headlights on the front. I have subsequently, I still don't totally understand the problem, but I've sort of patched over the problem, and I don't know if the bumper's happening anymore, but I do still have 2 more white lights. Again, they're not on. You're going to have to believe me. These are white lights. So I have those, and I don't know what I'm doing with them. The options include nothing. I can just do nothing with them. I can just cut them off, or I can hide them somewhere. Or I can put them in a minor place, like may have them shine through as, like, I don't know, 2 lights and 2 lights here. Just continuing the front lighting. I don't know. It's a possibility. I haven't made up my mind yet. I have some time to think about it, as we'll see in a second. The crew cab is up here. The thing is down like this in the front, but it lifts. And inside there's this tiny, adorable little area. Look at this. Look how cute it is. There's little chairs and cup holders and a steering wheel and display gauges and little control levers. I cut the video off. I hit a button. I'll stop doing that. Anyway, there's all this cute stuff. I love the little cabin. It makes me very happy. Yep. And then there's some more stuff around the corner that you can't see from here. Over here, there is the satellite dish, which rotates this way and rotates this way. And I think it looks neat. And the other side is basically the same thing, just with no cutout for the capybara thing. Oh, and in the front is a ladder that they use to climb up, and the ladder doesn't go all the way to the ground, and in fact is basically like the height of an S2. So there's going to be a nice piece at the bottom. There's this is going to get glued on at the end. It's just a ladder it's a ramp at the bottom of the ladder, and at the bottom of the capybara slot is really hard to get the angle on the capybara slot, but there's like a ramp that goes upward with struts on the bottom. Okay, so that's everything I designed in December and built this weekend. So what's going on? What's next? Well, so I mean, basically what's left is a couple of things. This whole area at the top here, obviously, as you can see, it's still a big tangle of wires. It's all designed. I know what I'm making. I just need to do it. That's the thing with this project. I know what I'm doing. I just need to do it. And that includes, I mean, there's going to be some flat roof there, but also there's going to be the mechanisms finally to secure the hoods so that they lift up and lock. There's going to be like a magnet. And also, since I'm doing that and it requires a raised area, there's going to be more like sitting area over here. And like the simplest version of this is I do the locks and then just kind of nothing else, and everything else is just plain, like if I'm out of time. The medium version is I do some sitting areas where there's just, basically couches and whatever, and then maybe some storage or whatever. The complicated version is I do like differentiated, like this is this kind of area, and this is this kind of area, this is this kind of area, right? And they're all different. I'd love to do that. I think it would look the best if they were all different, but I have to work with the time that I have. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And then maybe barbecue at the back. And so, yeah, that all needs to happen. I also need to build all the storage because, like, there's these areas at the back here that have all the storage rails, and they need storage stuff in it. And also, this area up here looks really empty and needs some storage stuff. So, and there's various other things. And then, in theory, there's a whole beach that it's supposed to be sitting on, like a display thing that's actually going to sit on this Lazy Susan here. But there's going to be like a circular beach kind of thing around it. And there's all this stuff I need to make, or that I planned to make, and I just don't know what I have time for at this point. So, with that in mind, I'm probably going to stop working on the truck right now and start working on the army instead. So, another thing I did over the break, I had a couple of days, and I started working on the army. So I've built 2 of the tags, 3, one sec. Here's my Squallow Mark II. Here's my cutter. in just kind of a Borg recharge pose. Here's my Tick Belang in a Batman crouching on a gargoyle pose, which I'm very proud of. They have all been reposed, but they need all the reconstruction done, rebuilding all the joints and adding back the detail that doesn't work with the stock model and stuff. So those need to be done. That's not super time consuming to finish that. But then the army needs like a bunch of other models. So like at a minimum to be like mechanically functional, I need 2 human models sculpted from scratch. I would like to have another scratch sculpted model for the HVT. Don't know if I have time for it. And then there's just an atmospheric model, just for the actual driver of the truck that I would love to have time to sculpt, but who knows? So, yeah. And then I need like 10 capybaras. So I need some of them that are just going to sit in the capybara enclosure, but some of them are actually going to be like functional. They're the peripheral bots that the tags pop out. So I need at least 3 of those to make these guys function, and I probably want a few more. So I need to sculpt capybaras. Yeah, so I need to do all that, and I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't think it's going to be like monstrously long. It's definitely not going to take the entire time from now to Adepticon, but I just don't know how long it takes. And how long, and that's the part that's like important. Like everything else I'm doing on the truck is nice to have. I mean, it's important to me, but it's nice to have to everybody else. So I should probably switch gears and work on the stuff that's important to everybody else. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pause the truck. I'm not working on it anymore right now. And I'm just going to kind of start finishing the tags and start doing the sculpting on the models. And we're just going to see how long that takes. I mean, it's possible that stuff doesn't take very long at all. Like, I can sculpt pretty fast at this point. It's a different kind of sculpting, but, like, when I made the 10 chibi models in 2019, or 2020, like, that took, like, less than a week per. And so, yeah, it was, like, 4 or 5 days each. And that's probably pretty realistic for these ones as well. So that's not bad. The conversions don't take very long. Like a ton of the army is just unmodified robots, and I've just got a bunch of unmodified robots. Again, they could be modified if I wanted them to be, but like they don't need to be. The baggage bots probably do need some modification, just because like look at these ridiculous models. Like they put this massive thing on a 40 mil base, but this tiny old N2 era mule bot is just floating in the middle of a 55. That's it. There's nothing I forgot to add to this. This is everything, and it's only this big. It's very silly. So I probably want to do some stuff to just do something to fill out the base. But again, time depending. Don't know. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on that stuff. We're going to see how long it takes. And basically when I'm done the army, I can then come back to the truck with a better understanding of how much time I have available to work on the remaining truck. And that tells me, do I get to do the like sprinting bare minimum version of the remaining truck pieces, or do I get to do the medium complexity ones or the high complexity, and we get to kind of see from there. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. This is probably the last truck update for a while. I have no idea what the next one's going to be, but what or when. But anyway, the good news is I do have a bunch of time off. So right now I've got like 2.5 months until Adepticon. During that time, I have already scheduled. So background, I have a billion vacation days. I just don't take my vacation, but finally, I don't take vacations. I have a massive bank of it, actually way more than we're supposed to even be able to carry. Turns out we can carry more than they said. But finally, after 17 years of that, HR yelled at my bosses and was like, he has to spend it. He has to spend it. So I've been spending it this year in week chunks. I have 3 week-long chunks between now and Adepticon. Also, without getting into too many details, it seems very likely at this point that some of the people at my work are going to go on strike soon. It's not guaranteed, but they're giving a lot of signals that they intend to do that, and I'm intentionally not giving more details than that. And if that happens, it's still an if, but if that happens, and again, it's not me who's on strike, it's different people at my work, but if they go on strike, there's not a lot for me to do. And so that just then becomes an easy time for me to schedule even more vacation. So Probably what my plan would be at that point is schedule additional weeks of vacation, which is just more time to work on stuff. So that would be really cool if I mean, obviously it sucks for them, but it would be incidentally very cool for me if that happened. And that would give me more time, and I've got the vacation days. It's just a matter of like, when can I schedule them that is not disruptive to everybody else. So anyway. All right. Yeah. So that's where we are. Lots of stuff left to do. I'm so pleased. I love how it's all working out. I love the big, blunt, stupid design of the front. I like how I made it asymmetrical. I love all the stuff. This project is like so far from perfect. If I compare it to if I compare it to my best project was the chibi models, the 10 chibis. And I was like, that's like the best project I've ever done, because like when I look at the final product for all 10 of them, I have no notes. Like there's nothing that jumps to my mind as like, oh, I'm disappointed that this piece worked out this way. I wish I'd done this thing instead. Like I look at them and I don't really have any complaints like that. Could they have been made better? Probably. But like none of them have any glaring issues. That was my most successfully executed project. This, definitely not that. There's tons of things on this that I'm like, I don't love. To pick one at random, like up here at the front, the cab that I love so much, it's like very hyper detailed. The outside's detailed, the inside's detailed, this is detailed. But then you go down to here and it's like very flat. And there's lots of like mismatches like that where different areas of the truck have different levels of detail. And that doesn't look great. And in a better executed version of this, there would be not necessarily the same level of detail everywhere, but more similar levels of detail everywhere. And the transitions from high detail to low detail would be a little more subtle. There's stuff like that. Some of the ways that the moving parts worked out was not great. There's lots of things on this that could have had some improvement with more time, or just, okay, now that I've done it once, I know how to do it better. But like, also, it doesn't really matter, because like I'm the only person who's going to notice all of these things that I don't like about it. No one else cares. Everybody else is going to be like, oh, it's so cool, it's got moving parts, wow, and that's it. That's the entirety of everyone else's reaction, probably, as long as I finish it. So yeah, I don't know. This is fine. It's fine, and I'm happy with it. I think it looks cool, and I'm really looking forward to it being done. But like I said, have to pause on that and work on other stuff. I do like how the robots finally fit in. Like this is the one that's going to, when I pose this as a diorama, this is the one who's just going to be standing there recharging. So I've modified the cutter into like the most basic pose possible, so that he fits nicely there. The other pose tags that are in like action poses look kind of weird in the Chargers. Like you can barely see the Squallow because he's hunched forward so far. You're not going to be able to see the Tick Belang at all, I don't think. Here, let's play with my dollhouse. Oh, cool! I lost some electrical tape. That's probably not a fire hazard. Yeah, like you can barely see this guy at all. You can see like the swords on his back, but otherwise he's hunched over too far. So anyway, I'm gonna work on the army for a month. We'll see what happens. Okay. Anyway, I've now been out of bed for 15 minutes and I really want a coffee, so that's it. See you at a time. Yep, definitely a time. Hi. This is the video where I tell you I'm not recording a video of all of the sculpting. Yeah, I don't know. I've been doing videos as I go through making the truck, and I think those are coming out pretty well, and I don't know, fairly confident that at the end of this I'll dredge up the energy to edit them all together and put out a probably fairly long video that recaps that whole process. I think that part will go pretty well. The truck construction is just, I think, more conducive to the kind of videos that I've been making, where I just like do a bunch of work and then at the end of it I give you kind of a recap. But the sculpting part, yeah, not so much. Sculpting tends to go too fast for a periodic recap to really be meaningful. Like, I have recorded videos where I did like 3 weeks of work and then recorded one video, and then the project is still only advanced by 5%. So, whereas, in a day or two, sculpted model's basically done. So, that style doesn't work. And then I've tried in the past to do like actual full sculpting videos, basically like this, and I try to hover the model and I try to sculpt and let you see it, and it's so hard. It makes everything worse. It's like trying to keep the model on the mark is really hard. Like right now I've put a piece of tape here to tell me like that's my sweet spot for the camera, right? That's where the camera wants it to be. But like when I'm sculpting, it drifts a lot and it falls out of the frame and it does all kinds of weird stuff. And like also like I often need to like turn it, and if I need to turn it like this so that I can sculpt and get into a certain spot, you can't see anything. But like I'm not making it up. This is a legitimate way that I sometimes have to hold the model. And I can't see the back of the camera, so I can't actually check what you can see at any given time. Plus, just given the way that my desk is set up, I would have to record kind of like this. So you would be watching everything sideways, which, you know, that's not great. So yeah, all in all, for various logistical reasons, I just don't think videos of me sculpting these models would be very interesting or pleasant to watch. So instead, yeah, no, you're just going to get a jump to the end. And I think that's fine. I think it's fine for me to skip that part and just make the videos be about the truck. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, since we're here, hey, want to see where I am? So on the 6th was where I paused the truck. It is now the 12th, so about a week later. I have, I would say, about 75% of the green stuff on my converted Tikbalang. This is my like crouching on a gargoyle pose one. It's going to sit on top of the truck. I need to do the hand, and there's some small details here and there that I need to fill in, but this one's like basically done. Very, very happy with it. It went very well into this pose. I think it'll look really cool. And then the cutter was reposed into just kind of a standing up straight pose, and really there's just been a lot of filler putty on this. I mean, I guess it's the same thing on the Tikbalang. They both just needed a lot of filler because I was repositioning all of their limbs, so I need to kind of re-add all of the connective tissue between every single joint in the entire body. So, and then like refilling in the details and stuff like that. So, anyway. The cutter has more gaps remaining that need filling. I've done more on the Tikbalang, but I don't know. These are coming along quite nicely. And then I've started my first scratch sculpted model, which will be the engineer, the grandma in the family. So the grandma is she's the owner of the truck and the owner of the company, of the army, and she's going to function as a machinist. The mom of the family, so her daughter, the mom, is she drives the truck, may or may not get a model. I think I want to make a model for her eventually. It just may not be a priority before Adepticon. And then there's going to be 2 kids. The granddaughter is going to be a model in the army. She would make the most sense as a hacker, but there's just no hacker that I want to take, so I'm going to end up playing her as a tech bee instead. And she's like, she remote controls the remotes. And then there's the grandson. He's going to be the HVT. He's the capybara wrangler. So he's going to be on a base where he's like crouched. He's very young. He's the youngest. And he's just going to be crouched next to a capybara that like ran away, and he needed to go catch it. And then he got stuck in the middle of the field, and now the army needs to rescue him. And shenanigans ensued. So, you know. Anyway, so I'd like to make, I definitely want the grandma and the granddaughter. I'd like to get the grandson as well. I'd like to have time to do that. We'll just kind of see how that goes. It is the HVT, so it is the least important of all of them. But then I also need to make a whole bunch of capybaras, because every one of these needs a peripheral bot, and those are going to be the capybaras. So, and then I just need a bunch of other capybaras for the truck. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, after a week, things are moving quite well. These ones have to be done with green stuff. And green stuff moves really, really, really slowly because you put it a little bit on and then you have to just kind of leave it, let it set, and then come back later. Whereas clay, you don't have to. You can just churn. You can do work. You work as much as you want to. with the clay. And so once these are moving fast enough, but slower than I would prefer. There's been a lot of times when I wanted to keep going, but I couldn't because I had to let the green stuff harden. Whereas once they're done, it's basically all clay work from here on out, and that stuff should go pretty fast. So yeah, progress has been good, and we'll like I said, there's not going to be another video on the army production side. I'll just show you how pretty they are at the end. I don't know if I'm going to paint them during this burst, or if I'll just do all the construction and then finish constructing the truck and then paint everything at the end. Haven't decided yet. I'll figure that out when I get there. So anyway, that's where we are. Yep.